All right, in this lecture, we're going to talk a little bit about the Earth's layers. So one thing that's very important to recognize is that our Earth has some internal structure to it. Today, we're just talking about what those layers are and how we can actually differentiate the layers within our Earth. So we're going to start. There's two ways we can divide the Earth. We'll kind of draw a nice, lovely Earth right here for you. Pretend it's a perfect circle. I know it's not. All right, so when we want to go and talk about the Earth by composition, this is our chemistry idea. So what are the layers made out of? We see three layers by composition. Okay, on this very surface, we have the crust. Crust on the Earth can be divided into two types. We have continental and we have oceanic. Okay, so you're like, what's the difference? Continental crust is found underneath all of our continents. Oceanic crust is found down underneath our oceans. So the difference is continental crust tends to be a little bit thicker. It's up to 40 kilometers thick. Oceanic crust is thinner. And it's usually up to 7 kilometers thick. Okay, next difference. Continental crust tends to be less dense and it's more of a granitic composition. Okay, or felsic if you want to use that word as well. Oceanic crust tends to be basaltic, which just references one type of rock that we find in the crust, our basalts. We can also say it has a mafic composition. Okay, now differences between these two. Granitic crust, I said it was less dense. It is about 2.8 grams per cubic centimeter for its density, and our basaltic crust is around 3.0. So it's a little bit denser, but not much. All right, so those are our different crusts. Now our next layer that we have is our mantle. Okay, the mantle is, when we look at the elements, the primary elements that we have in it are silicon, oxygen, magnesium, and we do have a little bit of iron in it as well. Okay, the rocks that tend to make up this rock, like the crust, which are also silicate, these are called, we'll just write silicates, and then it means it has lots of silicon and oxygen over there. Okay, so these rocks tend to be denser than our crustal rocks. And if we want to come up with a rock type to kind of help give us an idea, we would say they're ultramafic, which means they're darker in color and denser. And if we wanted to come up with a rock that we could pinpoint to say what it is, the rock would be peridotite. All right, now the density for our mantle rocks is about 3.4 grams per cubic centimeters. All right, and kind of our evidence from our mantle, just so we know nobody has ever been down into the mantle. It's too deep, too much pressure, and too hot. But basically, we do get volcanoes that are conduits and do allow some of our upper mantle rocks to try to erupt. So we start to see examples of peridotite at the surface. We also have stony meteorites that have bombarded the Earth, and when we go out and collect them, they are denser than our crustal rocks, but they formed at the same time as our Earth, so we're kind of make deductions about the similarities between them. All right, and they have the same density. That's kind of confirmed with the data from seismic. So seismic waves moving through the Earth reflect back and give us information about our Earth's interior. All right, so now the question is, how far down does the mantle go? And it is about, kind of the boundary where it ends, is at about 2,890 kilometers. Okay, and then inside of that, we have this other sphere, and this is our core. All right. Our core is the densest layer inside of the Earth, and it's, we'll just write it's very dense. It's an iron, nickel alloy, so it's a mixture of iron and nickel. More iron than nickel. And the data for that comes again from different meteorites that we found that have landed on the Earth, and they go and they look at it. They're very dense. It's actually part of how they find them. They're much heavier than the surrounding rocks, and the density is closer to the 8 grams per cubic centimeter that we have for our core. And again, it's found pretty deep inside of the Earth. So those are the 3 layers. If you're asked to divide the Earth up by 3 layers by composition or chemistry, we'd have the core, the mantle, and the crust. And then some of these can be broken down even further. So the crust can be oceanic or continental. All right. Now, the next question is, what are the 5 layers? So if we're talking about how else to divide up our Earth internally, we can also break it down into 5 different layers. And these are layers, so we're going to write 5 layers, and it's based off of our physical states. And that's it has a lot to do with density. All right, so when we look at the 5 layers, we want to keep in mind what those 3 layers were with the crust, mantle, and core. All right, so we remember that about halfway down, we have the boundary for our core. And what we find out when we look at the physical states of matter and the densities inside of the Earth and how those seismic waves are moving, we actually find out that the core can be divided into 2 different layers. At the very center, we have our inner core, and our inner core is solid. So again, remember, we've got our states of matter, we've got solids, liquids, and gases. So inner core is solid. The outer core is a liquid. And we know that because when we look at seismic waves moving through the Earth, there are some seismic waves that can't get into the inner core, and so they actually reflect off the top, and it tells us that we have that liquid inner core. All right, the next layer that we have, I'm going to kind of put it, this is not to scale. We'll just write down here, we're going to write our mantle, or if you want to help set it apart from the mantle previously, because our other layers actually involve mantle as well, you can just write lower mantle if you'd like. Okay, now down here, this part of the mantle is solid. So it's our solid peridotite. It's very hot and it's under a lot of pressure, so it's solid. And here our outer core is liquid because as we move away from the center of the Earth, our pressure is reduced, and so the material, that iron nickel alloy that's here, can exist in a liquid form. All right, so we have our solid lower mantle. The next layers that we have are the asthenosphere and our lithosphere. Okay, so I'll just write those 2 terms down so you have them. The asthenosphere is plastic. You're like, what is a plastic? Jennifer, that's not one of my 3 states of matter. So this is a material that is, it's not liquid. It's solid, but it flows. So it kind of can move and allow some motion. And that's really important because our lithosphere, which is solid, sits right on top of it. And it's this solid lithosphere that's broken up into these large plates. Those are the plates for plate tectonics. They move on top of this plastic asthenosphere, and it's those movements that leads to the formation of earthquakes and the different plate boundaries, which can lead to mountains and volcanoes and all that awesome stuff. So now the question is, you might be wondering, how is this different than the crust? Well, the lithosphere is actually the crust and the uppermost mantle. And again, remember, it's solid. The asthenosphere is also upper mantle. But it's just this little tiny squishy layer that the lithosphere is riding on top of. All right, trying to think if I wanted to include anything else in this one. But that's it. So those are the 5 layers compared to the 3 layers by composition. And it's just helpful to understand these relationships because they will play a role in things we talk about later in this semester.